All right, ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we are going to begin the process in algebra of solving one-step equations. So, as we have prepared for this, we have learned how to work with numbers, integer values, with fractions, with negative numbers. We've factored numbers. We've really built the foundation, and now it's time to begin the process of introducing variables. Okay, so in this document, I'm going to solve 6 algebra problems. These are called one-step equations because, first of all, they're called equations because there's actually an equal sign on every problem, and that would be opposed to an inequality or just an expression where there is no equal sign. So these are equations, and they're called one-step equations because they should only require us to do one step. So let's just dive right in. X plus 12 equals 17. Okay? So here's how you deal with this. You want to get the variable, the X is called a variable. You want to get this letter all by itself on one side of the equation. And I just want to take a moment here and really stress this. If you are using one of these calculators, okay, and you have learned some series of tricks that has to do with putting things in Y1 and Y2, unless you have been given specific instructions to use a calculator, I want you to listen to me very carefully. If you use this device to solve algebraic equations, 2 things are going to happen. Number 1, you will not learn anything. Okay, I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. Why are you at school? Okay, to learn. If you use this device, you are exporting your brain into this device, and you're letting the device do all of the thinking for you. Now here's the problem. So this brings me to the second problem. The second problem is it is only going to take us a couple weeks, maybe less, to get into some stuff where this machine is totally useless. Okay? So it is in your interest to just do the problems. Okay? They're not that hard. And if you do them on paper and you write clearly and you come to tutorials if you need help and you watch these videos, you will be fine. So with that, I want to make that clear. I do not support the use of a calculator for these equations, okay, because you will not learn how to do this. And here's the thing. For the rest of your academic career, whether you finish high school, go on to college, whatever, you're going to be working with this in every single math class. So this skill must be mastered without a machine. Okay? All right. So let's begin. We have x plus 12 equals 17. Now, the very first thing we've got to do is look at the sign right here. This is an addition symbol. And so in order to move this number to the other side of the equal sign, we have to do the opposite of whatever is being done right now. So right now, it's plus 12, okay? And I just want to make a note here. When a number like 17, you see how 17 does not have a symbol in front of it? If there is no symbol, plus or minus, in front of a number, you can assume it to be positive. But over here, because 12 comes after the x, there's a plus sign there, okay? So in order to move it to the other side of the equation, we're just going to do the opposite operation from whatever is being done. So in this example, we're going to subtract 12. Now, here comes the golden rule of algebra. What you do to one side, you must do to the other side. Let me say it again. What you do to one side, you must do to the other side. You have to keep the equation in balance. Okay, so to balance this equation, I'm going to subtract 12 from 17 as well. Now the positioning is important. Notice I didn't just put minus 12 anywhere over here, and I didn't just put minus 12 anywhere over here. I strategically orientated this negative 12 to be right underneath the positive 12 because I'm going to stack add. I did the same thing over here. I want the tens digits and the ones digits to be lined up because here's what we're going to do next. We're going to draw lines. and we're actually going to do what it says. So positive 12 minus 12, that's 0. So we're going to write a 0 here. And over here, 17 minus 12. Okay, 7 minus 2 is 5. And 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, so it's just 17 minus 12 is 5. Now, this is important. Now that you have done this one step, you must rewrite. You must rewrite. Okay? So now, the only thing remaining on the left side is the x, which is what we wanted. We wanted to get x by itself. So we say x equals 5. Okay? So, just right now we're at the 5-minute and 46-second mark. I want you to understand something. This is exactly how I want your problems to look. Some people are drawing lines. Other people are drawing a solid line all the way across. No. Stop, rewind, watch this process again. This is how you solve the problem. And if you're doing it on paper, put your solution in a box. Please use a ruler. I'm using a protractor. Do you see how neatly it's drawn? This is the acceptable turn-in. Okay, chicken scratch all over the page that I can't read and you don't understand and you won't know what it says 2 days from now, that will not work. This will work, and only this. Okay, and I'm being a little bit forceful here because I know what's coming your way, and so I want you to get this down. You follow this and you do this neatly up front, you're not going to have a problem in algebra. If you choose to ignore this and you just do chicken scratch or you cheat on the calculator, okay, or you do it in your head or something, then the rest of the year is going to get increasingly impossible for you to keep up with. All right, let's move on to this one. N plus 7 equals 22. So we have n plus 7 on the left and 22 on the right. Right now, 7 is being added to n, so we want to get n by itself, so we will subtract 7 from both sides. Subtract 7. Notice what I did on the right. I put the 7 underneath the ones place on 22. I didn't stick it randomly because now I'm going to draw these two little lines and perform these little math problems. 7 minus 7 is 0. 22 minus 7, what is that? Okay, well, if we only do the subtraction by hand, we're going to borrow from the tens column and turn the 12 and the 2 into a 12. Now, 12 minus 7 is 5. And you have 1 minus 0, and that's just 1. Okay, so now what do? Over here we said we rewrite. Okay, so we're going to rewrite. All we have on the left is n equals 15. Okay, put it in a box. Put it in a box. Make it neat. All right, k minus 20 equals negative 18. Practice saying the problem out loud. We're going to practice it in class, but you've got to practice saying the problem out loud. K minus 20 equals negative 18. Pay attention to that negative sign. So now let's get rid of this minus 20 on the left. We want to get k by itself. So what we'll do is, because it's currently being subtracted, we will add 20. Remember, what we do on the left, we must do on the right. What we do on one side, we must do on the other. Okay? So, draw a line here and here, just like that. Now, negative 20 plus 20 is 0. Negative 18 plus 20. Let's think about this for a minute. The negative value is 18. The positive value is 20. Right? So this might require a little bit of side work. If you can't do this in your head, here's how you do this. When you have a smaller negative value than your positive value, take the positive value, put it on top, this little side work here, and then subtract 18, just like this. So 20 minus 18, borrow from the tens, the 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0, so 20 minus 18 is 2. So over here, negative 18 plus 20 is positive 2. So put a 2 underneath the ones column. This order is important. Okay? Now, rewrite. All we have on the left is the k. So put the k right here and the equal sign right there. And then all that's left on the right side is 2. So k equals 2. Let's put this in a box. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now we've kind of switched positions here. We have negative 12 plus p equals negative 22. So how do we get p by itself? Well, currently we have p plus negative 12. You can read this both ways. Negative 12 plus p, p plus negative 12. Negative 12 plus p equals negative 22. Because we have negative 12 right here, we have to add 12 to both sides. Sometimes, depending on the position of the minus sign, if it's a leading minus sign, we'll say negative 12. Over here, we said k minus 20. We didn't say k negative 20. We said k minus 20. Over here, we said negative 12 plus p because that minus sign was out in front. Okay, so we're going to add 12. Remember, what we do on one side, we must do on the other. So we're going to add 12, being careful to line up our values. Draw a line underneath both of those things. Okay, now we'll stack add. Negative 12 plus 12 is 0. You notice a pattern here. You're always going to be eliminating one of these things. And over here, negative 22 plus 12, well, we'll just add it. Okay, here's the thing to remember. You have a larger negative value and you're adding a smaller positive value to it, so your result is going to be negative. Pay attention to your signs. Please pay attention to your signs. Okay, so 2 plus 2 is 4, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think that's the correct method? You have a negative 22 and you're adding 12 to it. What I see all too often is people just barrel ahead. They see a plus sign. They say, all right, 2 plus 2, 4. 2 plus 1, 3, and they write 34 right here, and that is just not correct. I feel like I need to draw this. You have like a number line, okay? I'm going to draw this right here. I want you to pay attention to this. Again, these are problems that I have seen so many times that I want to make sure that you don't make these errors. So here is negative 22 on a number line. As we move to the right, it gets more positive. You are adding 12 to negative 22. So watch, here's what's happening. Negative 22, right? Negative 21, negative 20, negative 19, negative 18, negative 17, negative 16, negative 15, etc. Okay? You're getting more positive. So what are you really doing? What is the real thing that's happening in your brain? Okay? You are, in fact, side work here, 22, and you're taking that and you're subtracting 12 from it. So what is 22 minus 12? And what you're going to do is when you get this answer, you're going to put a minus sign in front of it. So 2 minus 2 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 10. And you put the negative sign. So negative 22 plus 12 is negative 10, right? And you just keep this number line in your brain. So you put negative 10 right here, negative 10. Keep those digits lined up. And now we will rewrite what we have left. On the left, we only have p. So we'll write p equals negative 10. Okay, put that in a box. Okay, next two problems, we'll finish this up. I'm going to do these relatively quickly because at this point, we should be getting the hang of it now. I have 1 plus n equals 10, minus 1 on both sides. Okay, because 1 is positive. Notice, remember, I said if it's the leading number, it won't have a symbol, but we can assume it's positive. All right, draw lines. 1 minus 1 is 0. What is 10 minus 1? It's 9. Okay, notice how the 9 is in the ones column. I'm going to be looking for that. It doesn't demonstrate understanding if you put the 9 over here in the tens column. All right, now what's left on the, what remains on the left, that's n equals 9. Put in a box. Now, final problem. We have x minus 15 equals negative 17. All right, because we want to get x by itself, we have x minus 15, so we should add 15 to both sides. Notice how I'm going to keep this really carefully lined up. Draw lines like you're doing little addition problems. Negative 15 plus 15 is just 0. Negative 17 plus 15, again, it's just like this problem. We've got a bigger negative value, so what we're basically going to do is take 17 minus 15, and whatever we get as the answer, we'll put a negative sign in front of it. So 7 minus 5 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0, so it's negative 2. All right, so negative 17 plus 15 is negative 2. Let's rewrite what we have left. We have x on the left side by itself, so we write x equals negative 2. I just want to focus in on one final thing. Notice how this x changed positions. Over here, the n did not change positions, but throughout these problems, you might have seen these letters move around. What we're trying to do is kind of gravitate toward the center. Gravitate toward the center. I don't want to see an x hanging out here by itself and then a whole bunch of white space and then an equal sign and then your answer. Group them together. Your goal is to try to simplify the problem to where it's like really short. Put this in a box. Okay, now I assigned, I don't know, 30 or 40 problems. Okay, now I'm not trying to torture you, but I do need you to practice this over and over and over again until it is absolutely second nature, because we cannot go anywhere in algebra until you completely comprehend how to solve one-step single variable equations. So please, if you would, if this video is useful to you, please give it a like and leave a comment, question if you have one, and please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you are always updated when I release new videos. Thank you.